Welcome to this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KAJ, a show where we explore the stories behind the stories. Here we dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us author Healey Ikerd, licensed professional counselor, licensed marriage and family therapist, earned a certificate in ministry from Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary, U.S. Army veteran, now runs her private clinic, and she has got 17 years of experience in mental health, dedicated her career to helping both children and adults navigate their emotional and mental challenges. Authored several books, and we'll be talking about this particular book today, The Worried Little Goat. We'll talk more on that directly from Healey herself. Welcome to the show, Healey.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to uh, India in this online form, but this is a book which is globally available. So we'll talk about that book in that perspective. But very quickly for the audience, I've told about you, but I want you to tell a bit about yourself so that people know who they are listening to.
Yeah, you did share a lot about my kind of my professional side. On the personal side, I'm a grandmother, a wife, a mom, um, and I live in Arkansas. And my husband and I have a small little farm here we have some goats and chickens, a couple dogs, and love that garden, the whole homestead experience. So that's kind of what motivated me to write this book.
Absolutely. And that is where, as I said, the worried little goat. But why the worried little goat? How did you get to writing this book?
Well, I was really wanting to write a book about goats because I love goats. They're very unique in their personalities. They're a little ornery, and I just think they have great personalities. So I was really wanting to write a book. And for those that may have seen me before, they know I'm a Christian. And so I was really praying about, need a story though. I don't, what could be a good story? And so one day, something came to me and I just wrote it down. It was about a little goat named Asher, and he has lots of worries about being a goat. How does he know how to be a goat? And so he asked his mom lots of questions, and she tells him the answers. So the readers, it's kind of got this two-sided process of, having someone encourage him, his mom encourage him with the answers to as many questions. And then the readers get to learn about goats. So the little baby will ask things like, well, how do I know how to drink water? And what are those goats doing? Why are they hitting each other on the heads? And so he kind of goes through this series of all these questions and gets to learn. I'll just show you. Here's the illustration of the goats hitting each other on the head, and he's kind of wondering, why. So these are my goats. This is Lydia. She's a really good mom goat, and I had a lot of the babies actually look like him, but that was our little goat named Asher.
Right. Right. Tell us a bit about the book itself. Means it's about the goat. It's a worried kid goat, and the mother tries to explain what is it that you want to bring home the point about, and who is it this point for?
The intended audience is, of course, goat lovers. If you love a cute goat, I think that you'll enjoy the story. And then for kids that may have anxieties or worries, it is also a good book, and just learning how to use the truth to help you apply that and feel reassured. And then there's, again, I mentioned I was Christian. And so one of the characters in the book is the goat herd. And that's basically, he works like the shepherd. And so there he is. And Asher learns a lot about the goat herd in the sense that he is there to care for all of them. And in his job is to care for them because he loves them. And that is a representation of God also, as we refer in the Christian faith to God as our shepherd or Jesus as our shepherd. He can also be our goat herd because he cares for us in much the same way he loves us and he cares for us. And sometimes, even if it's Asher, there's one part where the goat herd takes the goats away, and Asher gets very scared because like, where are they going? But his mom tells him that it's just to take care of them so that they can be healthy and happy. So, yeah. So that's kind of
Absolutely.
the yeah. So there's a lot of things going on in the book, but I think it's fun, and I don't advertise it as a Christian book because it's not. It's just really a goat education book is kind of how I market it, because I think for young families with young kids, if they're getting goats for the first time or they want to learn a little bit more about goats, it covers all that from eating hay to, yeah, beating each other on the head.
Right. Why the worried little goat? Means we could have other word. Why this word worry into this particular?
Yeah, the well, the other alternate name was going to be "Don't Worry, Little One," because that is what Mom says a lot through the book. Let me just see if I can find one. So she says "Don't worry, little one" quite a lot to Asher as he asks all the questions, because he is in his questions. And that's kind of what we do when we worry too. We're asking all these questions and we're going down kind of rabbit trails of things. That's what he is doing too, is just asking lots of questions like why this, why that. And she's patient in answering and kind of giving him all the information. So that's why it's called the worried little goat, because he is, a worried little goat, and his mom reassures him that he doesn't need to worry, um, and kind of, gives them all the patient answers. So, yeah, that's what we need in
Absolutely.
our life, right? Someone to, when we have all the questions, that we have someone that we could ask those to, and then they give us the answer, and we're like, oh, okay. And we accept that.
Absolutely. So here, uh, what is it that you are wanting children to learn? What lesson does can children learn from this particular thing? And obviously, they will be learning from through their parents, or they can read the book themselves.
Yeah, the what I hope that they gain is some knowledge about goats, and just I think it's great to learn about things about the animal kingdom in general, but also that they can trust their parents in that, and others that are there to care for them, so they can trust those people and be reassured by the presence in their life. So whether that's a their parents or maybe an aunt or an uncle, that there are people that are there to care for them and they can trust.
Absolutely. Any particular favorite scene, passage of yours, Ili, that you'd want to, point out at, read out, perhaps?
Sure. There is a I like the ending, but there is one part in here that I kind of recreated. Let me see if I can find it here. Um, this scene right here. Oh, if so you can see it.
Yes.
Um, this is often what happens when you go in and try to repair something in the goat pen. It takes twice as long because the goats just they're curious about everything and they want to kind of get involved. So this particular um one says, Asher asks, "Hey Ma, I see," and and goats, especially when they're babies, their sound sounds like like ma, like they're calling their ma. So that's what I named ma, the mom. Um, he says, "Hey, Ma, I see the other goats eating and chewing. When will I start eating like them? And she says, "Don't worry, little one," replied his mom. "You were made to have more than just milk. You'll start to nibble hay when you're ready. Hay is dried grass. The goat herd feeds us hay that has lots of protein. He makes sure we get plenty of hay because we eat it nearly all day long. We drop lots of hay while we eat, though, and our goat herd shakes his head when he sees the wasted hay. Once hay falls on the ground, we won't eat it. He comes up with new ideas to help. We love to join in when he tries something new." And that's just all the goats. And that's what they do. We have goats that if we bend over, they'll jump on our back, the little ones, not the big ones. So, yeah. And that's just her reassuring him. So that's kind of a little bit that they get to learn about hay and learn about, if the hay falls on the ground, the goats will not eat it. So that's,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
really. So, while you were reading, I was thinking, how difficult it can be for a person to visualize these things, text wise also, and also to, visualize those visuals, images also. Though you can always give it to someone outside, but you have to do that thing to share your views and understanding of imagination about these things. To you, I ask, is what was the most challenging part of writing this particular book?
Well, the illustrations were I didn't illustrate it. I had a wonderful lady, Tanya. She's from the Ukraine that illustrated it for me. And she had never drawn a goat and she didn't know anything about them. So it was quite the process to go back and forth, so I sent her lots of pictures. But it was, I mean, I think she captured like I don't have a picture of my goat, but if you go to some site, you'll see her. So she did a good job capturing, but one of the hardest things, I think that we probably went back and forth on a lot, ears, nose, stuff like that, but was the udder, because the goats have a different kind of udder than cows and such. So we went back and forth and like trying to get it to look natural, but not too obvious, since we don't want kids like freaking out about the udder. But yeah, so that was quite the process. I mean, I can't illustrate, so I think it's great. She has, I think, a beautiful talents, just made the goats adorable. Um, but I think that's kind of hard to get them exactly right, just because they are kind of different in the way that they look. So to get the horns in the right place, the ears in the right place, the nose to look like a goat and not a dog, and the body to look, and the tails, the way they sit and how they stand and all that. So it's quite the process, but fun, but just time consuming.
Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, what do you want readers of this book to? What insights, what message do you want readers to take away from this book?
I think the biggest thing probably is I would love for young kids that love animals to really gain some education about goats, to learn a little bit about them, because often people say things about goats that aren't necessarily true, such as they eat anything. And they don't eat anything. They will nibble on most anything, but they won't eat it. But so I would love for kids to just get a love of goats and learn a little bit about them, but also hopefully see the message in there that there are people that care for you, so that you don't need to worry about things that people, especially when you're a child, because you've got people around you that are there to take care of you. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So, any other projects, upcoming projects, any new books? Earlier, it was about a story of friendship and uh, forgiveness, Red Ball, and then the worried little goat. Anything coming up next?
well, I've got a few. I do want to do a follow up to the Red Ball. That was a story based on my mom who grew up in East Germany. And so I do have a few ideas, and I've written a story out for that, but it may be a while because illustration is very expensive. Illustrations are very expensive. But I'm also working on a devotional, a 40-day devotional on identity. So that I've also am working on. And then I'm always on my podcast. So that's a lot of writing, as you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, Haley. There is much to learn about books. There is much to learn about goats, and there is much to learn about how to, remove anxiety and worries from a little goat or from anyone else. I'm sure there is a lot of people who would want to connect with you, learn more about your books. What is the best way for them to do so, Haley?
They can reach me through my website at writtenbyhealey.com. There is a place that says contact me, and you can send me a email, and or you can connect with me on Facebook at Written by Healey. And either one of those are good ways to reach me. Yeah, reach out if you've got questions about goats or worries. I can help with both.
Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of The Author's Voice with KAJ. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.